At this time, he told me it was on. Let's try it again.
Good afternoon.
It's on. On behalf of the school community at Rouses Point Elementary School, I'd like to welcome you to our holiday program. Today's holiday program is dedicated to the victims of Hurricane Sandy and the community of Sandy Hook Elementary School. At this time, we are going to stand and we're going to be led by Lucas James with the Pledge of Allegiance. And then after, I ask you to remain standing as we are going to have a moment of silence for the victims of the shooting of Sandy Hook Elementary School. Now it's my fault, Lucas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
As we've talked about with our young people this morning, and as our flag flies at half-mast, we never avoid our problems. We talk about the issues of the world and how we deal with those issues. So I'm going to ask at this time that we're going to have a brief moment of silence, again for the victims of Sandy Hook Elementary School, as well as the victims of Hurricane Sandy. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, we're going to dedicate a song from last year. If the students seem like they forgot a lot of the words, that's my fault because I pulled it together in about 25 minutes. Mr. Trudeau works hard to develop his Christmas shows, so this was just pulled in the program as I was continuing putting the flag up when I came yesterday to school. What's something that's our valuable lesson, a lot of times we heal through music. So I have 5th graders, who are presently obviously last year 4th graders. Our 5th graders now are in the middle school, who are going to sing Light the Candles as our dedication song to, again, Sandy Hook Elementary School. Calvin, our CDs still available. Calvin from Hometown Cable is here, so if anybody would like a recording of today's program, please make sure you find Miss Judy, and we'll make sure that you get a CD for the program. I believe the cost is $10. As principal, there's no greater joy than to watch our 245 gifts showcasing their talents as the sparkles in their eyes make us so proud. The Christmas season, a season that we celebrate with bright lights. However, for some, so many dark clouds linger. Our K kids recently are in the process of teaming with law enforcement with sending cards and items to a young boy by the name of Nathan Daunton from Virginia, who has brain cancer and is not expected to make it long after Christmas. This week we are seeking donations from our families of school supplies to help out schools in New York City and New Jersey that have been destroyed by Hurricane Sandy. If we could receive items by this Thursday, it would be greatly appreciated. We are partnering with Clinton Community College, and they will be sending our donations as a partnership between Rouses Point Elementary School and Clinton, and anything from notebooks, pencils, anything that would be a typical school supply. If we can be so gracious to send some supplies in to help out those students, that would be wonderful. Last Friday, December 14th, while our students were safe at school and practicing for their holiday program, the unthinkable event happened at Sandy Hook Elementary, shattering the hopes and dreams of 20 5- and 6-year-olds and the heroine school staff that put their lives on the line to keep other students safe. As our flag flies at half-mast, remembering the short-lived lives of these special people, please take the opportunity to talk with your children and send your love and prayers to the Sandy Hook school community, as they will need each and every one of us to heal. While we smile and cherish the memories of the holiday season, we have a connection of only 5 hours away that are burying loved ones. So should you ask, what is our connection? We too have an elementary school where we know our students well and have a close-knit community. We too focus on teaching safety procedures for emergency events. We too have wonderful law enforcement agencies that have a valuable partnership with our school. Parents that have high regards for our educational system, and a dedicated staff that put children first. We need to be responsive, not reactive. This morning I met with state police, and I pledged to you to continue practicing and further assess the effectiveness of our emergency procedures. What we need to remember is that we make the strongest team. We need to be the eyes and ears of our school. Whether that is that suspicious vehicle, that something does not seem normal outside in the parking lot, anything that may seem out of the norm and the siren goes off in your stomach as something's not right, we need to be cautious, and together again we can make the strongest team to keep our children safe. Student safety is always priority number one. Let us learn and reiterate the importance of giving your child the greatest gift they could receive, which is your time. Sharing time is so important to a child's development and allows for valuable bonds to be made. Often people are too busy, so they don't prioritize ways to make time when they are home. The amount of time that we have is not as important as the quality of that time. I believe the school community at Sandy Hook would tell us to read with our children. Make a special meal and sit down together. Play a board game and begin and end every day with, I love you and I believe in you. Today, we also announce with mixed emotions the retirements of Nancy Yell and Wendy Engelbrecht. Together they have contributed 60+ years encouraging children to learn and grow. They'll be missed, as it has been an honor to be the leader of their educational team. We as a school community wish both of them much success as they begin their new journey, and remember our schoolhouse will always be their second home. At this time, I would like to thank the faculty and staff for taking the time out of their busy schedules to support our students with practicing to perform a very special program. A special thanks to Mrs. Yell, Mr. Trudeau, and Mr. Gallagher for additional efforts in organizing the program. We will now begin our program, but I would like to end by saying again, as we focus on safety, I would like to introduce something that our building has, so all of you are well aware. In each and every classroom, it is a Northeastern Clinton Central School District emergency response plan that gives us procedures that are consistent in every class and every environment that we go to, that has a chain of command and lockdown procedures, as well as fire emergency response, building evacuation response, dangerous person response, emergency numbers, and other contact information that's readily available, and we will continue to update again our best practices that our students are number one. We at Rouses Point Elementary take great pride in our students and all of you working with our families as partners. We wish all of you a joyous, safe, and restful holiday season. Enjoy our program.
Again, good afternoon. My name is Mike Trudeau, Mr. Trudeau, and I am one of the elementary music teachers here at Rouses Point this year. My job kind of expanded and diminished a bit this year. I say one of the music teachers because I'd also like to acknowledge my colleague, Mrs. Cokes. Many of you know her. She was here and in Morris for a very long time. She's come back to teach some elementary music classes, which allows me to have some time to work with our beginning instrumental students this year. And that has been both a wonderful challenge and a wonderful joy. On stage you see part of the 5th grade instrumental students. What we decided to do for you today was to do a demonstration. And so students who felt comfortable playing the pieces today were allowed to come on stage and play for you. There are, however, trombonists and more flautists and more trumpets, and at least 2 other French horns, I think, who aren't quite where they want to be yet. It was not my decision, it was the students' decision. I'm very proud of their decisions. In most cases I agreed with it. In some I didn't, but those students were either a bit shy and didn't want to venture out here yet. We'll work on that over the coming months. So these students have been working very hard since probably October, I'm going to say, was about the time we received all of the materials that we needed to start lessons. And when we first started playing, it was a little bit like bedlam. So we're gonna give you an idea of what that sounds like in case you didn't live with one of these youngsters during those first weeks. So would you all play a long tone for me, please? Thank you. Now, there were no squeaks or other things either, and so it's actually sounding not bad. That was supposed to be bad sounding, but you guys did a good job. Thank you. So as they progressed, students started to learn to read the notes on the staff, which they were introduced last year, and then they learned one of their first songs, which we're going to do for you now, called the Fab Five, because it uses 5 notes. Thank you. Again, demonstration. And one of the things I wanted to also add to this demonstration today was a little holiday spirit. So for our last part of the program, we're going to play a tune you all know, Jingle Bells. And again, using those 5 same notes, but now much longer, using some different rhythms, and I think you will be as impressed as I am. So here are the 5th grade, some of the 5th grade instrumental students playing Jingle Bells. They're now going to do what I like to call a quick turnaround, and while they do that, they're going to be bringing their instruments downstairs. Most of the students who are playing instruments are also in the chorus, which is going to be coming up next. And so they're going to go down, carefully place their instruments in their case, line up, and then they're going to come back up. While they're doing that, I was asked not to tell jokes by the students, so I won't do that. However, I will say on the back of our program today, there are 2 songs. One that we're going to use to start our program with when the classes come out, which is It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. And the second one that we will end the day with is Here Comes Santa Claus. The words are printed there because we need your participation on that. And so I'm hoping that when the time comes, you will join right in and sing one of the best ways I know to kind of fight some of the world's woes that are coming in on us is to probably share in making some new special memories. And this would be one of them, where we can all join together and have a nice sing-along, if you will, but welcoming the kids on stage prior to their coming and when they leave. I will remind all of you that after the program, you will be able to sign out students from their classrooms, and we do ask that you sign them out. You obviously need to do that to help provide our safety that we're so encouraged to do all the time. So in a moment, our chorus will be joining us, and I will be back. All right. Again, I turned myself up. And now I'd like to present to you the 4th and 5th grade elementary chorus of Rouses Point Elementary. We will begin our holiday program with a traditional song for you, done in a little bit of a Celtic flair. We hope you enjoy. It's called Over the River. For our next song, I'm going to ask two soloists to come down out of the chorus. We're going to be using that microphone. And I'd like to recognize Serafina El Sayed and Sam Bolson. Jack Bolson. I didn't do it. You know, I did it right this morning. All right. Jack Bolson. Thank you, sir. And we're going to be doing a song called When the Lights All Shine. Not to be confused with Light the Candles. And before we do that, boys and girls, I want to double check the sound system. Make sure it's coming out the back and not the front. So I'll start the last song again. All right, that'll be a little better.
She lit a candle in New Orleans. He lit a candle in Beijing. They lit their candles in Vienna, Havana, Jerusalem, London, Hanoi.
like to acknowledge our soloists, Serafina and Jack. Let's give them an This song is probably the one that if the students would have chosen a song that was their favorite to start with, it would be this one. It's called The First Day of Winter. Our last song is one that started out being the students' least favorite because it was the hardest one. We've just arranged to, in order us to attempt three-part harmony in this song. And they do a fairly good job with it as well. I'm very proud of them. They do an excellent job with it. And I think this is a little bit reminiscent of the Fifth Dimension, if you remember their sound. And the students do a great job with this. It's our last song. It's called Candy Cane Lane. If you turn to the back of your programs, while our first class is coming up, we are going to welcome them with "It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas." Please join in. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10, glistening once again, the candy cane and silver lanes aglow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, toys in every store. But the prettiest sight you'll see is the holly that will be in your own front door. Now, third graders, could you hear them? You couldn't hear them. And what will they say if you get home and they couldn't hear you? That'll be the first thing, right? Yeah. So would you like to hear them sing it again? Yeah. I thought so. I would too. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10, listening once again, the candy canes and silver lanes aglow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, toys in every store. But the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door.
quickly than me. He went to each class, and he passed out candy, for that was his assigned task.
Here you go, Taylor. Great job, Lucas. Wonderful A, Abby. Merry Christmas, Brendan. Great job, Lauren. Awesome job, Brendan. He put his finger quietly up to his rosy red lips.
And took hold of the book, the pages to flip.
The children sat down as he started his story.
He looked like a librarian, but not quite so boring.
His eyes, how they sparkled as he read every word.
His expression on his face kept quiet so the sound could be heard.
A story of Christmas from a long time ago, when Christmas meant more than spending lots of dough.
He told them of bells that would ring Christmas Day.
They made you feel happy to help others on their way.
In the
sprang to his feet after looking at his clock. I forgot to hurry so I can follow my song. I heard him explain as he left down the hall, Merry Christmas to you and Merry Christmas to all.
While we serenade the first graders out, I do want to remind you that you can sign out students from their classrooms. Mrs. Yell's third grade classroom is downstairs in the music room, so you can sign them out there. We do ask that you do that promptly, as buses will be pulling in shortly. Thank you again for coming, and let's sing Here Comes Santa Claus while they leave first, please.
What's that?